Hello everybody, welcome to JAIIB CAIIB English Medium channel. From today, we are starting off with a new series for your JAIIB November 2025 exam. This particular session is for PPB, but mind it, we will be coming up with the IIFS, RBWM as well as AFM in the subsequent time slots. So if you are new to this channel, do not forget to subscribe this particular channel because we bring you the relevant content for JAB as well as CAB examination. So starting off with the PPP subject, Principles and Practices of Banking subject, we will focus on module A today, and it will be part one of your module A. So as you can see that part one states that we have the other parts in line. So part two, part three, we will be conducting in the upcoming days. So today we'll be starting with part one, tomorrow part two, and then part three. And after that, we have planned something interesting for you that we'll reveal after a while. So let's start our new series that is for the most important questions. But before that, if you are preparing for the AB examination, what should be your preference when it comes to the PPP subject? So you must cover the module A and B first because more than 50% questions in the examination will be from these two modules only. Then module C and D should be your priority. And from module C, you can expect good amount of latest development questions. And from module D, we can expect the case study based question. But before that, you must be very much certain about all those important concepts in module A as well as module B. So module A talks about journal banking operation, and that is the module which will be targeting in the upcoming days for your JAB examination only. And the journal banking operation, it talks more about the KYC, and along with that it has the account opening functions, all those account opening, or for that matter what are the types of accounts. Then we have the RTI Act also, then ombudsman scheme, the RBI integrated ombudsman scheme, along with that foreign remittance as well. So all in all, if you are handling the cash department in your bank, then you can easily relate with the module A because it specifically talks about the deposits. So let's start our class. First question in front of you. Which of the following statements about pledge, hypothecation, and mortgage is correct? So we are having four options here. The first statement says is in a mortgage, the possession of security always remains with the lender. So in mortgage, whether the possession of the security remains with the lender or the bank, as we say it, or it remains with the customer. Car loan is the example of pledge because the security is movable. So although the security under the car loan, that is the car, is movable, but it is not an example of pledge. It is an example of hypothecation. In pledge, the borrower retains the possession of the movable security. Again, answer is no. In pledge, what happens? Like in the gold loan, what happens? We have a single, you can say, a single owner of that particular gold ornament, but that particular ownership will lie with the customer only. But when we talk about the security, the gold, it will lie with the bank, not with the borrower. Hypothecation involves movable asset as security with possession remaining with the borrower. So again, when we talk about hypothecation, we have seen that in the car loan, you find that it is for the movable asset only and the possession do remain with the borrower. So the correct answer will be what? Option D is the right answer here. Okay, so this difference is very important, and while defining these three types of you can say securities, you must remember that what is the prime example. So for pledge, the prime example will be gold loan. Always keep in mind gold loan whenever you're studying about pledge. Then when I talk about the hypothecation part, you must keep in mind the car or vehicle loan. Mortgage, again, housing loans come under that particular category. So type of security under pledge, we have movable, as well as for hypothecation also we have the movable property, movable security, and for mortgage there is immovable security which is involved. Possession of security remains with the lender in case of pledge. For hypothecation, it remains with the borrower. And for mortgage, it usually remains with the borrower. In India, when we talk about the home loan, so in all those types of you can say mortgage, you find that possession remains with the borrower only, but only the papers are there with the bank. Okay, but in foreign countries we have seen that the transfer of property ownership also occurs in the home loan, but in India there is no such case. Plus, along with that, you must know some other relationship like bailey-bailer relationship, where the bank remains the bailey and customer is termed as a bailer. What do we mean by this bailey-bailer relationship, by the way? So, directly speaking, when a customer deposits certain valuables, certain bonds, securities, other documents with the bank for their safe custody, the bank, beside becoming a trustee, also becomes a bailey because the security documents are involved here. The safe deposit will be accessed. Section 148 of the Indian Contract Act 1872, the bank becomes custodian of the securities. And when we talk about as a bailey, all those losses which can occur due to bank's negligence, the bank will liable to pay for those particular losses as well. Then we have one more important, you can say, relationship where the bank acts as a lessor and customer acts as a lessee. The prime example will be your safe deposits. Okay, safe deposits, what happens? We have seen that the bank will act as a lessor because the lease agreement will be signed between bank and the customer. Customer will act as a lessee because the customer is utilizing the safe deposit which is lying in the property of bank. Section 105 of Transfer of Property Act deals with the lease lessor and lessee. The bank provide safe deposit lockers to the customers for use on lease basis. Fine, you do not own that, you are having or holding a lease only. The relationship here is that of lessor and lessee, or for that matter, licensor or licensee. So, who will be the licensor? Who issues the license? That is the bank, and licensee will be the customer. The bank is not liable for any kind of damage which happens to the loss to your contents in the locker if the loss is due to some natural calamity or the act of God. But yes, if the bank's negligence is the reason for the loss of certain items, then the bank will be liable. And when I talk about the liability of the bank, it is fixed at rupees, whatever the rent is, fine, the locker rent multiply it by 100. Okay, that is the penalty, or you can say the obligation for the bank to pay to the customer if at all the loss of an article, loss of the materials which are present in this particular locker, it is due to bank's negligence. Fine. Next, let's move on to the money laundering cycle now. According to the money laundering cycle, which stage is characterized by making the illicit funds difficult to trace by moving them through a series of transactions. So we have a good amount of transactions going on in the money laundering cycle, such as transfer to an offshore bank. So money laundering is what? Basically, you are trying to make good of your illicit funds. Some illegal funds are withheld by you, and you want to make good of those funds. How you can do that? By money laundering process. You want to include those illicit funds in the legal, or you can say the proper format which is there for you to use those funds. Okay, so to have those illicit funds in the formal system of finances in the country, you use the process of money laundering. And this money laundering involves various steps or stages like placement, integration, layering. Which of these will be involved when we talk about the transfer of those illicit funds to offshore bank, whether it is placement, integration, layering, or collection of dirty money? Definitely it is option C, that is layering. So C will be the right answer here. Again, when I talk about the stages or the steps involved in money laundering, first will be collection of your dirty money, right? The illicit funds which you are holding. Second is the placement. You will place those funds and will try to integrate them with the financial system. And how you will integrate, how you will be placing these funds correctly via layering process, which is the third stage. How do you complete this layering process? Simply stated, you are moving towards the offshore accounts. You have certain stronghold with the offshore accounts and you try to move your illicit funds to the offshore accounts. And after you have moved your currency, your illicit funds to the offshore accounts, then we move on to the integration. So lastly, you will be integrating those funds, those illicit funds from the offshore accounts into your country by purchasing the luxury assets, financial investments, by doing the financial investments, then commercial or the industrial investments as well. So that's how the entire money laundering cycle proceeds, starting off with the collection of dirty money, placing that money, then layering that money via the offshore accounts, and finally integrating with the economy. Consider the following statements regarding the offense of money laundering as per the PMLA, Prevention of Money Laundering Act. So we have three options. Do let me know what is the right answer here. In the PMLA, all the offenses under PMLA are considered non-bailable. So whether all the offenses are non-bailable or certain category of offenses have been defined as non-bailable. The maximum punishment for money laundering offense is always 7 years of rigorous imprisonment. So do we have the maximum imprisonment as 7 years only, or you can exceed this time also for special cases, or for that matter, it is always less than 7 years? PMLA defines money laundering and outlines the punishment for the offenses. So PMLA, it actually defines the money laundering, yes, and also it outlines the punishment for the offense as well. Here you will see for certain narcotic drugs, you have rigorous imprisonment for 10 years also. So the correct answer for this question will be option B, 1 and 3. Okay, all the offenses in PMLA, they are considered as non-bailable and non-cognizable as well. And the PMLA defines actually the money laundering and outlines the punishment of the offense. And when we talk about the rigorous imprisonment, it is 10 years also, not 7 years. In most of the cases, you have 7 years, but not always. Okay, so the sections which are important under the definition of money laundering offense. The offense of money laundering has been defined in Section 3 of PMLA. Section 45 of PMLA stipulates that all the offenses under your PMLA are to be deemed as cognizable and non-bailable. So they are cognizable in the sense you need not to have any kind of warrant to arrest the perpetrators. Non-bailable means you cannot have any bail if once the trial start. Section 4 of PMLA stipulates the punishment for money laundering offense and which is rigorous imprisonment for not less than 7 years but up to 7 years and fine as per the gravity of the offense. So fine along with the, you can say, 7 years rigorous imprisonment is mostly what is to be done with the offenders. But when we talk about certain drugs, specifically the psychotropic substances, there the maximum imprisonment can go up to 10 years as well. What are these psychotropic substances? Simply stated, a type of drug only, but they are of two types. One, which is the legal psychotropic substances like your tea or coffee having caffeine, good amount of caffeine. Secondly, we cannot name them, but yes, they are not legal to use. Next question, you have to tell me the right answer based on the four monthly reporting obligation of various reports. A non-profit organization must file a report for any single receipt of rupees 10 lakh or more. Counterfeit currency report CCR is required to be submitted only for counterfeit notes for a certain value, whether it is true or not, only for a certain value or for any amount of value you can submit the CCR. The cash transaction report or the CTR must be filed if a series of connected cash transaction in a month aggregate to 10 lakh or more. So CTR, if you are generating the report CTR, what is the monthly aggregate against which you can generate this report. All the four reports must be submitted by the end of month in which the transactions occurred. So what will be the right answer here? Here, if you know the exact answer, exact timelines, then you would be able to answer correctly. Quickly tell me what is the correct answer here. All of you must participate. You must tell me that what is the correct answer here in this particular question. This is a very important question when we talk about the PPB subject. So the correct answer for this particular question will be option B, that is 1 and 3 only. So the non-profit organization, they must file a report for any single receipt of rupees 10 lakh or more, that is correct. And the CTR must be there for the monthly aggregate 10 lakh or more. But when you talk about the certain value, no, there is no certain value. Even if the counterfeit notes are not having much value, that also we have to report. All the four reports, they need not to be submitted by the end of month, but we have different timelines for every report. Okay, so CTR, here you can see that cash transaction of 10 lakh or more, then a series of cash transaction connected aggregating to 10 lakh or more. Then one important one which we have not covered in the question. Here you can see the cross-border wire transfer report for the amount more than rupees 5 lakh should be taken. And these four reports are required to be submitted each month, calendar month, by 15th of the following month. Okay, 15th of the following month, that is the timeline. So this entire reporting obligation table is highly important. One question definitely will be asked in the examination. Then we have one question based on the e-KYC. What is the maximum aggregate balance allowed in all the deposit accounts for a non-face-to-face customer using OTP-based e-KYC? So when I talk about OTP-based e-KYC, you will have some maximum aggregate balance which is allowed in all your deposit account. What is that? It is 1 lakh. Okay, 1 lakh will be the right answer here. Okay. Plus, what after this, the 1 lakh amount, what is more important for the borrower accounts, only term loans shall be sanctioned and the aggregate amount of the term loan sanction shall not exceed rupees 60,000 per year. That is very, very important. Okay. So, mind it when we talk about the borrower accounts, the loan accounts basically, only term loans shall be sanctioned and the aggregate amount of such loans should not exceed 60,000 per year. Then we have the simplified due diligence requirement for the foreign students opening a bank account. Which of the following statements are correct? So for the foreign students who want to open a bank account in our country, what is the right answer? Whether the foreign student can open an NRO account using the student ID card, the bank has 60 days to verify the student's local address. Foreign remittances to the student's account are not allowed under any circumstances. Or for that matter, the required documents include a passport with visa endorsement, photograph, admission letter from the Indian educational institution. Indeed, D is the right answer here. What about this term? Quickly tell me what is the exact number of days with the bank to verify the student's local address. It is not 60 days that we know, but what is the exact number? Do let me know in the chat section. Okay, so within 30 days, okay, not 60, within 30 days, you have to do the verification of the local address. Along with that, during this time period, when the verification is ongoing, the foreign remittances not exceeding US dollar 1,000 or equivalent can be credited and not to exceed rupees 50,000. That is also very, very important. When we talk about the foreign students, then we have solved a question based on that. But the self-help group accounts TDD, customer due diligence for of all the office wearers shall suffice. This is some off-topic information for you, but yes, always remember in self-help group accounts, you must know the information from the perspective of the office bearers as well. So office bearers are what? Whosoever are holding prime position in these SHG, mainly the secretary. Then we have one question based on the type of companies. So what about the limited companies? Let's try to answer them. A public limited company must have minimum of 7 members for incorporation. Private limited can have unlimited number of members. Subsidiary company of a private company is always considered as a public company. What is the right answer here? Public company must have a minimum of 7. Private company can have unlimited members. No, it is not correct. Correct answer will be option A only. That is public company must have a minimum of 7 members. Okay, here you can see public company, it requires minimum of 7 members and there is no upper limit. But when I talk about private companies, so you have minimum 2 members and maximum you can have 200 members. That is it. When we talk about the subsidiary company of another company, that is not a private company, it will be deemed to have the status of public company only, even if registered as private company. That is why this is wrong. A subsidiary company of private company is always not considered as public company, only when it is not a private company, if the subsidiary company is not a private company. Okay, so this was it for today's class. If you have any query, you can just ask me in the comment section. And many students were asking about the courses which we are conducting at our platform. So yes, we have started the crash course for JAB November 2025. If you want to have the entire details of this crash course, you can directly contact us on 0981 981 9247. Okay, so yes, we'll see you in the next session. Till then, goodbye everybody, take care.